Recording in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the fourth Digital Transformation in Government Conference. We're very fortunate to have with us Rachel Porteous. She's the CIO of the Financial Tracking Institute over in the Canadian government. This is a very complex environment, and she's basically facing it as well as possible. She has many lessons learned, and I think the How to Face a Mountain of Transformation, I think, is a very apt title. She's been working in the field for more than 20 years. I've had the pleasure of working for her when she was an executive at another association, another part of government. And I look very much forward to her presentation, and we'll basically get this going. I will be over to you, Rachel.
Perfect. Thank you very much. My name is Rachel Porteous. I am the CIO at FINTRAC. I've been the CIO for the last 4.5 years, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about some of the potential hurdles that you may face during a digital transformation. So let me talk to you about our digital transformation, which we've coined our Mount Transform. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever faced a challenge so big, a task so overwhelming that it left you feeling kind of lost or confused or unsure of where to begin? Well, that's what digital transformation can feel for some. So the process of transforming a business to enhance the digital age can seem like a huge task, one that is wrought with challenges, pain, and struggle. But it's also a journey of incredible reward, one that can propel your organization to new heights of success. So as the CIO at FINTRAC, I'm here to share the lessons learned on our climb up our very own Mount Transform. So whether you're starting or you're further along in your transformation journey, I hope that my insights are going to be valuable to you. Just like climbing a mountain, digital transformation requires preparation, perseverance, and commitment. So let's gear up and embark on this exciting journey together. So we'll go to slide 3. So let me talk about the first step in our ascent of Mount Transform, which is about identifying the peak that we want to reach. Think of it this way. If you were going on a hiking trip, you'd want to make sure that you're heading towards the right mountain. So it's the same with the digital transformation. We need to make sure that we're heading towards the right goals and the right outcomes. So to do that, we need to fully understand the problem or the mountain that we want to climb. And the best way of doing that is through user research. So basically, you want to use the insight and the feedback of the people you're trying to serve to inform your vision and your strategy of your organization. So here's some tips or key learnings in that area. So you need to invest capacity in user research and user experience. I recommend that you conduct some user research and analysis with key target segments. In our case, those are our reporting entities or our law enforcement partners, so that you can identify the problems and the key pain points. To create some concept cases or business cases, if you want, to guide the current and the future state discussions. The use of research to create some purposeful vision for your digital transformation. To develop an actual digital strategy that's going to reflect the priority concept cases and the target key business problems that you're looking to fix, such as manual processes. And I'll give you an example of that applied to our work. And also to create a digital strategy framework that includes some foundational transformation elements to be able to meet the core business solutions. So at FINTRAC, our aim we aim to help to transform the business. And to do that, we met with our stakeholders, which are our reporting entities, and our employees, to better understand what their needs were and what their pain points were. That helped us create some business cases or concept cases that described fully what a transformed business could look like, kind of like a current state, end state. So what could it look like in the future? With that information, we developed a set of initiatives that form part of our digital strategy. And one of the areas we worked on was to automate some of the manual processes, something I'm certain you'd be familiar with in your own organization. With that in mind, we focused the digital strategy on the automation of our core business, and we've created a more user-friendly experience for our external stakeholders and our employees. By following that data-driven approach, we were able to identify the mountain that we wanted to climb and to create a roadmap to get there. Let's move to slide 4. So you've identified your peak, you've mapped out your route, but how do you pay for this climb? So that's where funding your transformation comes in. Climbing a digital transformation mountain can be very costly, and it can be a costly endeavor, and you need some resources to make that happen. But you don't have to only rely on your own little budget to make that climb. So you can leverage your user research and the design that you've done and the digital strategy to secure some funding for your transformation. When the opportunity is right, turn those concept cases and those business cases into funding proposals, because these cases have already done the work and are already aligned with your business goals. And you already have the buy-in from your business partners, which will make it easier for you to secure some of the funding. So here's some tips to do that. Leverage the buy-in from your digital strategy to fund your future modernization. Convert some of those concept cases or business cases into funding proposals, and leverage your digital plan framework to fund some of your product teams. Here's an example on how FINTRAC tackled the funding for our intelligence modernization project. So when the time came to ask for funding, we were ready. We already had done the work of identifying our target segments, which for us was our law enforcement and our national security partners in the case of our intelligence modernization. And we created a value proposition model for them. This allowed us to draft a compelling funding proposal going through the government processes that leverage our research and our digital strategy. And the result for us at FINTRAC gave us over $30 million that has been invested in our transformation program. So by putting the time and the effort to understand your audience and to create a roadmap, we were able to secure the funding to make this a reality. Let's go to slide 5, navigating through the fog. In this case, you now have the funding, you're ready to start the climb, but there's just one problem. The mountain is shrouded with a dense fog and it's easy to get lost. So that's why it's important to create a solid plan on your journey ahead. So think of it as setting up a base camp, a place where you can plot out your route and prioritize your objectives and make sure that your teams are aligned with the goals. This will help you stay on track, and it's going to help you avoid detours and stay focused on reaching the summit. So when it comes to plotting your course, you will want to use your framework to create an overall plan that will get you to the major milestones. You will also want to invest in tools which will allow you to manage the progress of your journey. It's going to also allow you to communicate with your team and to keep everyone aligned. And remember, your journey up the mountain of transformation is not a one-time trip. It's an ongoing process of learning, adaptation, and growth. So make sure that your plans are iterative, they're flexible, and they allow for change. So here's some tips, right? Use your framework to create an overall plan to get you to the major milestones. Create some distinct product roadmaps to solve unique user problems and needs. Invest in a roadmap and some project management or portfolio management like tools to manage and to be able to communicate the plans and ensure that your plans are iterative, flexible, and allow for change. At FINTRAC, an example, we realized early on that the transformation was going to be a really long, complex journey. As I said earlier, we've been in, maybe I didn't say it, but we've been in the transformation for the last 2 years. This is our 3rd year starting now. So it is complex, and it's a long process to be able to attain our goals. And that's why we developed a digital plan that helped us navigate through that fog to reach our peak. And our plan is consistent year over year, and we use the same framework to prioritize our plan in our transformation journey. We're currently developing some distinct product roadmaps that's going to help us solve some unique user problems and needs. And we've invested in the roadmap and in tools to help us communicate. and to be able to manage better our plans. And that's going to help us to stay on track and make sure that we're always making progress towards our goal. On slide 6, let's talk about developing your climbing skills. As we get onto this journey, it's critical to have the right skill sets in place. Transformation can be a risky venture, and it's important to invest in modern architecture, design, and technology skills to make the climb successful. So we no longer can depend on traditional infrastructure and solution skills. And to reach the summit of transformation, you'll need to equip your team with cutting-edge skills such as user experience, user service design, innovation, agile, cloud, API development, and a whole bunch of other types of skill sets. So what can we do to ensure that your team has the right skill sets for the climb? Here's some tips. Encourage your staff to start learning those skill sets as early as possible. Try to enable them in learning through prototyping. Find some industry partners with whom you can partner and where they can help you with each of those skill sets. They can help you do some of the work, but they can also help you learn or help your staff or your employees learn the new technologies. Leverage knowledge platforms that are free, right? They have free curriculums. And then make time to learn before, during, and after your projects. At FINTRAC, we recognized that it was extremely important to have the right skill sets for our transformation. And we took an active step to build our capacity with the new skill sets that were required. We sought out industry partners who could help us learn and do. And these partnerships brought us some fresh perspective and new ideas to help us stay ahead of the curve. We relied heavily on prototyping as a means to learn while doing. That allowed our staff to learn, fail fast, and continue the progress on their deliverables. As we move to slide 7, before being in front of the steep rock face, we must be aware of the challenge of managing change and avoiding some obstacles during our transformation journey. Transformation is a complex process and change can be difficult, but with the right approach, we can certainly overcome any challenges that come our way. So the key here is to lead the way, encouraging some safe risk-taking and continually refining our plans based on the results of our prototyping. So here's some of the tips that I'm offering to you. So to have a strong, experienced leadership leading that climb. So make sure that you have a capable leader who may have some similar experiences to be able to guide the way. Ensure that there's safety lines that are and that they allow for risk taking from your employees and your teams. Ensure prototype is embedded and that they use prototype to learn, to reduce risk, and to inform future plans and make the appropriate adjustments. And to purposely manage change from the start and to communicate clearly. And of course, be patient, but be persistent. At FINTRAC, we prioritize some strong, experienced leadership, and we're actively seeking executive and strong technical expert with similar competencies in transformation. So, if you have those skill sets and you're interested in joining us, you can certainly do that. Let us know if you're available. In our product management approach, we have identified some key leadership positions as a priority, and we continually prototype to learn and reduce risk and inform our future plans as we maintain open communications to ensure that everyone is on the same page. In conclusion, transforming a business can be a challenging journey, but with the right approach, the right tools, the right people, it can also be a really rewarding challenge. So don't forget that this journey is a team effort. So bring along your people, as you will need them along the way. Whenever you are on this journey, it's never too late to adapt your approach. Perhaps some of these tips that I've shared with you today can help you in your transformation. Most importantly, as you advance, do not forget to stop and enjoy the view. It's extremely important to celebrate your successes and appreciate how far you have come. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today to share some of the hurdles that we have been through during our FINTRAC transformation. Back to you, Bob.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That was a great presentation, and very much appreciate that. We do have some particular presentations at this point in time. I'm just going to stop the share, and then we can go to the screen. First off, sort it out. First off, I would like to apologize. We were having some technical issues when Rachel was first started speaking, so I just want to do a proper introduction. Who's Rachel Porteous? Well, she's the Chief Information Officer for the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Center of Canada. They do a critical job. They do things so much fun as, anyways, financial tracking, money laundering, all that stuff. They work very heavily on this particular aspect. She's a distinguished senior executive. She's got more than 30 years of IMIT experience, a proven track record of success in developing solutions, and she's focused on improving the efficiency and effectiveness in IT and business operations, as the excellent presentation just showed. She's a strong leader, and she can drive transformations in service delivery. She's been the Chief Information Officer at FINTRAC, Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Center, since January of 2019. Before that, she was CIO at Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada from 2017 to 2019. She's also occupied the position of Chief Technology Officer at Public Services and Procurement Canada and the Canadian Border Services Agency, where she managed multiple multi-million-dollar projects across the departments. She started her career at Indian and Northern Affairs Department, where she excelled in multiple IMIT positions. She holds a Bachelor of Applied Science with a major in Computer Science from the Université de Québec en Outaouais. And she is very active in two main non-for-profit organizations, specifically the CIO Association of Canada and the Association of Public Sector Information Professionals, more affectionately known as DPI. So without further ado, I'm going to go and look at the Q&A. Okay, great. So use the Q&A box, okay, for questions, please. So the presentation is great. Is there any priority to start with respect to prototyping?
Pardon me?
Rachel, sorry, yes. With respect to prototyping, is there any priority that you give to prototyping, being able to show people the impact of their transformation?
So at FINTRAC, we're looking to embark in a more agile methodology. So we're not going fully agile. It's very difficult to do that. We're a government organization. We've been spending the last 25 years in a waterfall kind of methodology, but we're trying to embed a lot of the techniques and components of the agile methodology in our day-to-day work. So we are doing prototyping, and really what we're putting in place is more like we have monthly releases, right? And it was very difficult for us to get to the monthly releases. But in our product teams that we've created for our business lines, we have multidisciplinary teams that are conducted with that are constructed of employees that work in our business lines, people that work that are stakeholders and may be external to our organization, and with them, with the development teams, we are prototyping different phases of a project. So as we're building these different products, we take on prototyping on a regular basis. So we demonstrate to them, we have sprints of about 6 weeks, 6-week sprints, or sometimes they're a little longer depending on the complexity of the component or the product that we're looking to build. But we have embedded prototyping in our day-to-day, and the teams are experiencing that. So it gives them the opportunity to deliver the right components to the business, as opposed to spending 4, 5, 6 months on a component And then at the end of the 6 months, the business line has decided, oh, well, we want this to be blue or we want this to be green, right? So by using prototyping technologies or prototyping capabilities, we're able to get back to the client with some results on a faster timeline.
Great, thank you, Rachel. Yeah, prototype. I can't underemphasize the need for prototyping to be able to use a show me loop, you know, especially to the business people before they start investing great sums of money in an area. Is FINTRAC undertaking the digitization of its legacy paper records?
So yes, we still have a few paper records. There's some that we have to keep in paper. So I mean, it's unfortunate in that case, but we are certainly working in the organization to automate a lot of these manual processes, so we can digitize, digitize the paper records that we currently hold. But I'd say 80% of our records are automated already. They're already in a digital format as opposed to a paper format, but it's going to take us a few years to change the process for the remainder of the records that we have that are more paper.
Thank you, Rachel. Do you have capability owners? You do capability-based planning.
Of course, we do capability-based planning. I mean, we're working very closely with the business, if I'm answering the question properly, but we, in the prototyping that we are doing and in the user research, we're looking at the different capabilities that our business lines require to do their work. And we're looking for the best solutions in collaboration with the industry vendors to meet some of those criterias. In some cases, we may be building some components internally to integrate with some of the solutions that we're looking to procure to meet the capabilities that our business lines are looking for.
Can I just ask you a question? Are you using capability-based projects that can control across the spectrum, the various dimensions of a capability?
So we have reference models that we've developed. We're looking at the different capabilities, but it may not be across. Like, as I said, we're just starting into our product management framework. So we've got products that are at different level of maturity, and we're trying to strengthen those product lines. And in the transformation, we've kind of set our foundation components, but now we're kind of working on automating our core business. And that's going to give us more opportunities to build better capabilities across.
Okay, the next question is, are you dealing with cryptocurrency and related crime as part of your work?
Well, FINTRAC is responsible for all of the deterrence of of money laundering and terrorist financing, and of course, cryptocurrencies are part of the reports that the reporting entities are regulated against. So yes, we are doing the work related to cryptocurrency. I mean, we're doing analysis. That's the work that we do at FINTRAC is really financial analysis. So yes, the cryptocurrency is part of our organization.
Great, thank you. Okay, the question is, and I'm just going to make sure people understand the framework for that question, is what interoperability, and remember, interoperability is the ability to legally share information and services, okay? Challenges were encountered with data sharing and or regulatory issues with international partners, such as the EU GDPR and USA regulations.
So at FINTRAC, we don't necessarily, we do have international partners, but really it's the reporting entities. So we have multiple sectors. I think there's 10 different sectors that we deal with. And so mainly I'm talking about kind of the banks, I'm talking about credit unions, I'm talking about real estate, the casinos and those types of organizations that are regulated by our organization. So we supervise them to ensure that they are compliant to our regulations and to the Act. They are responsible to provide us information. So in terms of interoperability challenges, it's really the interoperability challenges between us and the reporting entities. But the reporting entities certainly have challenges that they may encounter in terms of between the different international partners. and they take care of that part. But for us, it's really about the Canadian organizations that and some foreign, money business services business that also provide us information. But we're using standards that are generic enough that we can transfer and receive information from those entities. So we're using application programming interfaces to ease that and following some of the international standards.
So for data transfer, you basically just tell the partners, this is the way we want the data, send it to us this way.
Exactly. So there's specific forms, and then we give them the flexibility to use our APIs to be able to transfer information.
Great. Next question. How do agile methodologies align to the Government of Canada requirements for upfront planning? And how have you adapted your project management processes to enable agile per se?
So again, as I mentioned, we're not fully agile. We're just kind of, we've got our tippy toes into the agile methodology. We're also, developing our DevOps, DevSecOps organizations. And we're aligned with the Government of Canada, the GC ambition. As I said earlier, we're really focused on our product framework, our product management framework. So developing these products to be more agile, to be able to embark onto different sprints for each of these products in our product families, to be able to, to allow for prototyping, and to be able to allow for smaller results faster, right? And making sure that we're aligning to the requirements and the business goals and objectives of our business partners.
Just to put this, do you use, for example, the concept of capability increments, basically chunks of business value, rather than delivering the full capability, that you basically chunk it out and providing?
Yep, all the time. So we build a small little piece, right? We show it to the clients look at it, play with it, say, hey, it'd be great if I could have that, if I could do it this way, if I could do that. We take it back, we do some design around it, we bring it back to the business. In one case, we have a modular search tool that we've just built, and it's going through iterations every 4 weeks.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Next question. What percentage of services processes were discovered as a result of client interviews? So
it's been quite an endeavor. The fact that we've, like, at the beginning of our digital strategy, so back in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, we started to plan and develop the actual strategy. And our first step, as I mentioned, one of the hurdles was to develop some of the concept cases. So we met with the business, and again, the business is not sitting, like, we've done the exercise of the as is and the to be. But the business, like on the to be, right? Like they've got some ideas, but as we are iterating, there's new ideas that are informing the future state, right? So our future state is changing. Of course, we want to be able to leapfrog. We want to be the ahead of the curve. But when you do those types of exercise, you have to do them kind of following an agile methodology and being able to kind of prototype, but always readjust your end state. So we're doing that, and that gave us the opportunity to look at some of the services and processes that the business, what we're doing. We have a lot of manual processes that were embedded into the processes, and we're looking at automating some of that core business to be able to help our business lines be more agile and be more responsive to their stakeholders.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question. How does cybersecurity factor into your digital transformation use case design process?
So security is always at the forefront, right? You don't think about security at the end. Security is throughout the projects. We're making sure we've got the proper security controls in place in our infrastructure, in our network, in our applications, and we have a strong security assessment and security assessment process in place. And as I said, the most important part is that it is throughout the projects and the product delivery. right? So that we don't think about it as the 11th hour. Hey, did we think about this security piece? And we're fortunate in the government of Canada. We're kind of under an umbrella of the government of Canada. We've got some key organizations like Shared Services Canada and the Cybersecurity Center of Canada that helps us, maintain a certain level of security throughout.
And last question, you mentioned information. Oh, no, we got some more questions popping up here. We got information sources. Do you buy any from data aggregators or from, data as a service? You buy
Yeah, I mean, I think that, as many organizations, like we have a set of information that we receive that we do our work with, whether that's at FINTRAC or at immigration or at Canada Border Services. Most departments, right? We augment that information with open source intelligence. So we do, in some cases, procure libraries of data that exist out in the industry, right? To be able to help us do the work that we're doing, whether it's under compliance or under our intelligence mandates.
Okay, well, that's okay. And what are the areas of transformation that represent the greatest friction to transitioning? What are the biggest impediments to transition that you found?
So, as I said, right, there's a whole bunch that I've talked about, the skill sets. I've talked about some of those hurdles in my presentation. Look at some of those tips that are there. But I'll have to admit that the biggest one for me, or for us at FINTRAC, was the sheer amount of change that was required in the IMIT organization, meaning we've changed our development stack. We've adopted new technologies. We've adopted the cloud, right? We moved to different areas of development. So there was a lot of change occurring in the IMIT group, let alone in the business. So the business is transforming. As the business is transforming, the IMIT needs to adapt themselves too. So for me, I think that the biggest hurdle and the biggest lessons learned is it's about our people. It's crucial to take care of our people and make sure that they've got the proper training. I mentioned to have training before, during, and after. The employees all work and learn in a different manner. Some learn in prototyping, some learn with industry standards, some learn on their own with some tools or some, traditional courses. So we need to adapt ourselves to the people to ensure that they have what they require to be able to move forward and give them the space to be able to do that. So I think that's my biggest key point. The other part to help our employees was to bring along some industry vendors or some other resources that had the technical skill sets that we were looking for, so they can kind of work together and learn from each other along the transformation.
And then when dealing with third-party data, do you undertake data validation?
Of course, yes. Like, it's important, right? So to us, the quality of the data is the most important part. Like, even the data that we receive, we always need to make sure about the quality. So we need to be, if we're procuring or acquiring any data sets that are out there, we need to ensure that it has, proper attribution and that it's valid.
Okay, great. And what has been the key driver for transformation for your organization? Has it been the end user business cases or technological advancements?
So it's really a partnership. So we're looking to modernize and transform FINTRAC as a whole. So our business lines, and I think this is one of the greatest successes, that the business lines are engaged. They are driving this. We are helping them as, the IMIT organization to transform them and to bring them into the digital age. So they already had systems, their legacy systems that we need to modernize and that we need to replace in the future. But the business has embarked into doing a lot of their process modernization. They're looking at doing work differently. They're looking at adapting a digital mindset and being able to, to change the way they're working. Right, and automate a lot of their processes that they are doing manually today. So I think the biggest driver for us was the fact that the organizations, the business lines are engaged, and they're a part of the multidisciplinary teams of our products. So each of our products have a huge complement of business technologists, business analysts that are working in the business lines, that understand the business, that are really driving the delivery of those products.
Okay, thank you. Well, Rachel, I would like to thank you very much for the presentation. I thought it was very insightful and concise. It was great. And it basically uses, the metaphor of the climbing the mountain is really quite apt. And you never quite reach the peak, but you're always climbing and just moving forward for that. So thank you very much for taking the time to present to the conference. And with that, I'm going to be closing the session, stopping the recording in a moment, but I just want to make you aware of that at 10:10, we're going to be starting the session from Yvonne Gallagher, and she's with the equivalent of the Office of the Auditor General in the United Kingdom, and she's from the National Audit Office, and she's going to be talking about evaluating UK Parliament's digital and related delivery of value for money. And then we're going to have Dr. Raul Abril, who's going to be presenting the Interoperable Europe Act, an architecture perspective for that, and how the pieces all fit together and what the implications are of the new act that's tying together a very, the loose-knit federation that we know as the European Union. So without further ado, thank you very much, Rachel. And now I'm going to be closing this meeting. I would say take a quick coffee and get ready for the next couple of sessions. They're very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.